Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Jazz Talk, my favorite segment of the show where I interview local jazz musicians. This week we have Jacob. Jacob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. First of all, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, what you do here, and stuff like that.
So I'm a music education major. I play clarinet. I'm in the symphonic band, and I also play tenor saxophone. I'm part of the Jazz 2 here. I'd say, I'm a junior. I'm a junior too.
Awesome. There we go. Well, obviously you talked about what you play. Can you talk about how long you've been playing the clarinet for and also the saxophone for?
Dang, I've been playing I've been playing the clarinet since like 5th grade. So I don't know. It's coming up on like 10 years now that I've been playing clarinet, and then I barely played the saxophone like my freshman year of high school.
I see. Yeah.
And then it was kind of like on and off from there. I guess right now I've been playing consistently tenor for like about a year, maybe less than a year.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And then when did you start playing jazz?
When did I start playing jazz? It's because I've been dabbling in it for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Ever since I picked up the clarinet, I've always been kind of like a jazz head. And so I've always been, I would say maybe like 7th grade.
I see.
When I
Okay.
really started to get into it.
And then how did you find out about jazz? Obviously, you're pretty young, so you don't have like full access to the internet. How did you find out about jazz?
Actually, I did. That's the way I figured it out.
Okay.
It was because I picked up the clarinet.
Yeah.
And I originally wanted to play saxophone. Is what
I see.
it was.
Okay. Yeah.
And because I was watching a lot of The Simpsons, and I was like, I want to be like Lisa Simpson. I want to get into all that. And then because I know they had Bleeding Gums Murphy on there. He was a saxophone player, and so I went in like I want to play jazz. And then my teacher was like, "No, you got small fingers, son. You gotta get on the clarinet." And I was like, "Okay." And then I was on YouTube. I don't know how I found out. I guess I was just watching like videos of clarinet, and I found this artist named Pete Fountain, and he's a great clarinet jazz player.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I got introduced to it, and I just went down the rabbit hole.
I see. Awesome. And how did you decide between switching to clarinet to saxophone? Was it just solely a woodwind thing, or was there a different reason? Because I know you talked about seeing Lisa play the saxophone, but I know there's probably a lot of different aspects that went into deciding, switching to a different instrument.
Well, it was definitely because I think the biggest thing was that I knew that if I wanted to be in like a jazz band, I knew I was gonna have to play a saxophone. I mean, if I could, I would just do jazz clarinet the whole time.
Yeah, of course.
But I knew I kind of had to pick it up, and I think it's good to be like well versed in saxophone and clarinet. Now I'm like thinking like I got college brain, so now I'm like, I can get more gigs if I do clarinet and tenor.
Yeah.
But when I was in high school, I was just like, I'll learn tenor, and then I could hopefully get into the jazz or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe I can do clarinet. But after playing sax for a while, I just really like playing sax now.
Awesome. Yeah. And then what made you so attracted to the genre of jazz? Obviously, you discovered it in high school, and you continue playing jazz all the way to right now. What made you so attracted to jazz specifically?
It's the I feel like it's the sound. I feel like compared to like classical or like anything else, there's such a distinct sound with jazz. I mean, it's like the jazz chords, of course, like the way the rhythm, everything, the funk of it, and the fact that there's so many different like genres of jazz. What was the question again?
Yeah, well, what made you so attracted to the genre of jazz?
I think it's the expression. The expression is, I think, one of the most beautiful things about it, because I mean, a big part about jazz is the improv. And it's just solely based on how you're feeling, what comes to you in that moment. And that really stuck with me. Because, I mean, like, I've watched, and I still do, I just, like, go on YouTube and I just watch so many different soloists. And I listen to so much jazz.
Yeah.
And I listen to all these different soloists, and the way they play, it's just incredible. The fact that they just, like, pick it up and just, like, I'm going to... And they just let it, like, take them. It's something that is really attracted me and still like infatuates me. Like being able to just express yourself like that. Awesome. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, awesome. And then obviously you talked about how you play clarinet in the symphonic band, the top ensemble. How does the way you think change when you're playing in a jazz setting compared to when you're playing in a band setting?
Oof. Well, I feel like the biggest thing is just going from clarinet brain to saxophone brain. I feel like that's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Because like embouchure is way different. Even the size of the instrument, I'm going from like here to like I gotta
of course, yeah.
bust open my fingers. I feel like that's one. Just going from like different embouchures and different sounds, and then I think 2 is definitely the style, because I'm so used to like you gotta like do when you're going to like staccato, you know, like different like articulations, and especially like it's gotta sound very beautiful, very like flowing when it comes to some or like classical. Yeah. And then I get into jazz and it's more of just like, I mean, depending on, you know, the genre, but it feels like there's so much more room for like experimentation and kind of I guess like, again, more of the expression, like how kind of want it to sound. And I think it's just there's also like, because I really have to stay, I mean, there's also balance in jazz. There's a lot of balance. But I feel like when I'm in the classical setting, I'm always like, all right, I have to match the person next to me. I gotta match how they're doing it. I gotta stay balanced. I gotta stay like quiet. Yeah. But with jazz, it feels like I'm able to just kind of like, because it's one on a part when it comes to jazz. And so I feel like I can really like, yeah, this is my part, and I can like project it. And I think that helps me so much with just like the sound on tenor. And I mean, of course you have to balance, but I feel like it's just knowing that I can project, I can make this part sound and really be its own puzzle piece to everything else. So I feel like that's the biggest thing. Just I got my own thing. I don't really have to worry about blending in as much.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. And then I know you play tenor. Have you ever tried experimenting with other types of saxophones in a jazz setting, or even just regularly, just randomly trying to try out a new saxophone?
I have. So my freshman year, I learned tenor. In high school, I learned tenor. And then quarantine hit. So, I mean, that was my sophomore year. But junior year, I also did tenor, actually. But my senior year, they put me on alto sax. Okay. And so that was my first experience with alto. And it was definitely interesting. But I really liked it. I actually really liked doing alto. It feels much more like smaller and condensed, well, obviously. But and then I did alto again when I was at NMSU. Okay, yeah. I did it my second semester there, and it was chill. But I really liked the tenor. I just love the low notes. I've yet to try like a soprano or I would love to try Barry though. Yeah. I would love to try Barry, but tenor, I've been really liking tenor.
Awesome, yeah. And then what are some of your favorite jazz artists, and why are they your favorite?
Well, okay, for sure, Pete Fountain. Okay. Because I mean, he had such an impact on me. When I got the clarinet, and when I first discovered him, I was like, oh man, clarinet, like, what can I do with this? Yeah. And then I saw Pete Fountain, and I was like, that's what I can do with that. Because I saw his video. It was like him on a Tonight Show. I think it was like Johnny Carson or something. Yeah. And he just got up there. He's this bald guy with like a goatee, glasses. Yeah. And he whips out his gold clarinet. I'm like, what is that? And he has like such a like distinct like New Orleans sound when it comes to clarinet. Like hard vibrato. He's got such a strong tone. And I heard that and I was like, wow. That's incredible. Like that's what he single-handedly made me like fall in love with the clarinet. Just being able to see what I can do with it, and I could still do jazz and still create such a distinct sound. And I've been following him ever since. He has been like my role model when it comes to when I want a jazz clarinet sound, he's the guy.
Awesome.
I mean, there's so many. Of course, discovering clarinet jazz artists, Artie Shaw, Benny Goodman. I really like Benny Goodman. But I think when I was younger, Artie Shaw was kind of like my guy.
I see.
I was like, oof, like, because now he's with the whole like band. He's in the big band kind of setting. Because Pete Poundin, like, he's more of a combo kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so now hearing in the big band setting, and it has that, because I love that like old jazz sound.
Yeah, of course.
I love it because with Artie Shaw, he also uses that like very classical vibrato.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, I really like Artie Shaw because he sounds great.
Yeah.
I would say an artist that recently, well, there's been two. Recently, I've been really getting into a lot of Charlie Parker.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for real. Like, every time I hear his story and how him and Dizzy Gillespie, like, changed jazz.
Mm.
And he created that, like, that bebop sound, that. It just blows me away. And the fact that, like, because I hear the stories about, like, how he practiced 12 hours a day. I'm like, oh my.
Yeah.
That alone just gives me, like, so much respect. And I think he's such a great artist.
Mm-hmm.
I've been really looking up to him, especially on tenor. I try to like get that sound as close I can.
Yeah.
And then Charles Mingus has been someone that I've been loving, like the way he composes and the way he writes.
Yeah.
I love Charles Mingus so much. I just, there's something about his music. I don't think there's anything like it out there.
Yeah.
Like,
I
for
get
real.
you. Yeah.
And so those like 4 or 5 artists I've been really like, those have been kind of like my guys and kind of like my guides in the jazz world, and there's someone I look up to heavily.
Awesome. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. And then what's some of your favorite styles of jazz to play and to also listen to?
To play? Well, I really like playing bebop.
Okay, yeah.
I love the sound. I love how like fast and technical it can get. Again, listening to Charlie Parker, I mean, he plays some nasty stuff at like 300 beats per minute. And it's just like, dang. So I love playing bebop. I love trying to just learn as much as I can, learn different licks. Especially on tenor, because on clarinet, I feel like my technique is pretty good on clarinet, just because, I mean, I've been playing it for so long compared to tenor. So whenever I do bebop on tenor, it allows me to kind of like work through it and like slowly get even close to Charlie Parker. So I really love experimenting and playing through bebop. I really like playing through the blues. I think the blues, because I've listened to so much through over the years that like blues is like, it's so recognizable to me. And I love the sound, like, like, especially like I'll be hearing like some guitar players play that blues, and I'm like, like, there's something about it that's so soulful, and I love it so much because I feel like you can express, like, there's an unlimited amount of expression in blues. You can, like, I think it's just so, it's so good. It's so good. So I really like playing in that, trying to improvise more in the blues, because again, you can just express so much. I feel like I really like listening to big band. Yeah. I mean, I love my combos, you know, I love like the quartets, but I really like listening to that big band stuff. Because again, it's what I started off listening to. Yeah. And I love that sound. Like, I'm a sucker for sax solis. Yeah, like, of course. I am just, like, if I hear a good sax soli, that song is like peak. It's just like amazing. So I really love listening to big band. And then especially hearing, like, because you can have like so many goats in one band. Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. And to hear them all like play off each other, and then you hear soloists, and it's just amazing. Story, my clarinet professor, he's always telling me about, like, oh, well, this guy played in this jazz band, and he played with this guy, and I'm like, what? They're in the same band. He was telling me about I forget his name, but there was this guy who was a tenor player in the Duke Ellington band, and the boy had not epilepsy, he had narcolepsy. Okay. He had narcolepsy, so he'd literally be asleep midway, like, through the concert, and then someone would have to like wake him up, and then he would just go in and start soloing, and he would kill it. He would rip it. So I just think I love listening to big band stuff, and I love listening to a lot of Latin jazz. Latin jazz is kind of like, oh, I love Latin jazz so much. There's actually an artist I've been getting into. I don't know if you would consider it like proper Latin jazz, but it has that big band sound. Oh, Machito and his orchestra.
Okay.
Yeah, Yo Soy La Rumba. That's the album.
Okay.
And the album's so good, and they have like jazz singers and I guess just singers. I've been really getting into that, especially when I was younger. I listened to so much Latin jazz and
of course,
like salsa. I guess I don't know if you would consider that. I kind of consider it. I kind of like throw it in there.
Yeah.
But I would say big band and a lot of Latin jazz. That's kind of like what I love listening to. And also I love a good jazz ballad.
Yeah, of course.
A good jazz ballad is so good.
Course, yeah.
I was listening to My One and Only Love with John Coltrane. And I forget the singer's name, but I just like a good jazz ballad. It always hits, always hits. And again, it's that like the appeal of expression.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I love it so much.
I see.
Awesome. So I would say those
awesome,
three.
yeah. And then when you're improvising, what exactly is going through your mind?
Honestly, I'm really bad when it comes to improvising, because I didn't, and even now I still don't really look at chord changes.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I've struggled with that for so long. I didn't like when I was in high school, like actually starting to get into like the jazz band, and now I'm like, okay, there's like chord changes, and I get to improvise. I was looking at all this stuff, and it's like, what is C triangle to the 7th power? Like, what is all this? Like E flat sharp freaking 9 to the 13th power. It was like, it was like equations. It was like hieroglyphics that I was looking at, and so I was always very kind of like discouraged by like kind of getting into it until probably like my senior year. I really like my teacher at the time was like, all right, let's break down a chord change and all the triads and what makes the 7th chord, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I just left it at that. I didn't take anything that I learned into college.
Yeah, I see.
And even still, now I still don't really look at it too much, but I kind of just base it off of like my ear and what sounds good. My other teacher in high school, he just taught me to find out like chord tones, like what would work. And so I know it's not the best way, but I kind of just go off of that. And the more I practice like certain chord changes, the more I'm like, oh yeah, this note works. I can land on this note here. And so I usually just base it off my ear. But more recently, I've been taking lessons with Barger. So he's been like, all right, let's look at this. Let's go through the triads. Let's play each note in the 7th. And so I've been really trying to push myself to like really look at a chord change and what notes are in the chords and trying to figure that out. So I'll try to do like exercises so that I can get it in my muscle memory. Because especially with tenor, again, I'm not used to playing as much tenor as I am with clarinet. So with tenor, I have to like go through all the notes, try to get that muscle memory, and then just see what happens and just go off my ear, basically. But with clarinet, it's also, again, it's just with my ear. Whenever I improvise on clarinet, again, I use my ear because that's kind of what I've been doing for so long. So I just listen, but I really am trying to like recognize what's in the chord and how can I like go through these smoothly and trying to do enclosures and all this stuff. I'm like, I've always feel like so embarrassed admitting it because I feel like I'm such a jazz head, but at the same time I'm like I really don't know.
I get you,
what's going on. I feel like I'm just barely starting like my journey through really breaking down tunes and all that stuff. So I mean, to answer the question, I just use my ear.
Awesome. And then why do you think jazz and people's emotions have such a close connection to each other?
I think it just goes back to the improvisation, because again, it's like unlike classical. I mean, classical can bring out so many emotions, but I feel like it's very, not to say that jazz isn't, but classical is very intentional.
Yeah.
And I feel like all the notes are right there. You just have to go through them, and it's the way you interpret them that can really evoke emotion. It's you bringing whatever that composer wanted to life. And again, it's more interpreted by the player and whoever's conducting it. But I feel like with jazz, there's so much up in the air, especially with combos. Like you can improvise, and so many people can just play off each other. You can create something that was never written out, that was never there, and it can create something really, really beautiful. And I feel like it just, with jazz, people can just take it anywhere. And again, the expression and the improv, I think, adds like a whole other layer to, I think, that why people are so attracted to jazz. And I feel like why people, especially me, get such an emotional reaction from it, just because of that improv aspect.
Yeah.
So I would say that's what I would say.
Awesome. There you go. Why do you think it's important to listen to live jazz when you can?
Oof. Well, I would say because you can learn so much. I mean, you can learn so much just from listening to recordings, but I feel like especially with live jazz bands, I feel like there's so many like little things that you can pick up on. Like I was watching they had the Woody Witt ensemble, or I guess quartet. They came in, and just by watching them, I could see that like, and listening to them as well, I can see like ideas forming in their head. I can see the way that like, well, one person played this, and then the next soloist like kind of imitated them and played something similar. Or I remember like there was even at one moment, I think they didn't stop correctly at one point, and they just kept going. And so it was just like the sax and trumpet, and they were just like playing off each other. Then the piano came back in, and it created something. They even like looked at each other, and they were just like, oh. And they kind of just like laughed. And I think that's so cool because you wouldn't know that from a recording. You wouldn't see that. So I feel like, especially with live jazz, you get to have that visual, like kind of look at everything. And then, well, of course, just the sound. There's such a difference from recordings and live. Especially like if you really like a way like a saxophone sounds, or like a certain player sounds, hearing them live is such a different different perspective. And especially for me, I'm always trying to like, oh, I like his tone, I want to kind of replicate the way he sounds. Hearing him live can be such a different perspective, and kind of give you a like a taste of what they're really capable of.
I see.
So I think it's very valuable. I try to go to as many live jazz performances as I can. I mean, I don't know, there's not that much, but I try my best. I do.
And then what is one of your favorite memories relating to jazz?
My favorite honestly, pretty recently, I feel like the Jazz 2 concert in fall. Yeah. That was really, because again, I don't really play when it was I didn't play tenor sax for like, I think like almost a year and a half. And so I picked it up to audition for Jazz 2, and I didn't think I was gonna, I had hope. But I really put a lot I could into that audition, and then finally getting in was such an experience. I feel like I was so happy, because I mean, the saxes here are crazy. Y'all are crazy. And so the fact that I was even able to get into it, not being a saxophone player, I think I was very happy. And then again, just the charts that we played was something that was so difficult for me. As just like, picking up the tenor after so long, and then I have to improvise, and I have these long solos, especially for Caravan. It was like 2 pages of just, and it kept repeating. And so I was like, dang, I really have to lock in, because I want it to be good. I want it to sound good. Of course. And so I remember putting so much time, like even we did Skunk Funk. And those are some weird stuff on the tenor. And I remember I struggled with it so much. And then I remember like a week before the concert, my tenor broke. Like literally the side B key the spring came off. And so I was stressing. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have a tenor for this. I'm going to like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I was freaking out. And everything kind of like lined up on that concert. My tenor was fixed. Like, I think the rehearsal before, and I was able to get through all those runs pretty well. And I thought like the solos that I did were good. And I remember walking out after that. And I remember somebody the saxophones came up to me like, yo, that was crazy. Like, I didn't even think you were going to like solo like that. And everyone, I felt like so proud of myself. Yeah. I think that was such a highlight for me because it was like, wow, like if I practice, then I could do it. But it was just, there was so much effort that I put into it. And to see that it had made people like, I was able to touch people during the performance, and to see that so many people were excited about it made me so happy and so proud. Awesome. So I think that was probably my best moment for jazz. Awesome. I was very, very proud of that.
Awesome. Yeah. And then, what is some of the best advice you have ever gotten relating to music?
Ooh. Best advice. Honestly, I kind of got one recently. I was talking to Dylan Martin. Shout out Dylan Martin.
There we go.
But he was talking to me, and he was saying that to approach any sort of genre or any sort of art form with the idea of expressing yourself. And because for so long, that's kind of how I approached music is through expression. But especially like being in college, and you know, like this is something that that I'm doing on the daily. I got lessons, I got performances, and I feel like there's so much expectation for me that I can get kind of like lost in it all. I feel like there's so much pressure, and I like get nervous for concerts because I'm like, I put in all this time, I want it to sound good, and and then you like mess up, and I feel like there's so much pressure and so much so much weight that we put on our shoulders as musicians and performers that I feel like we can kind of lose ourselves in that. And when he told me about that, like really approaching any genre of art with expressing yourself, it reminds me that like we do all this for a reason. Like there's obviously like something that is pulling us to continue to performing, to go back into that practice room, to try again. And for me, it really is that expression. That's why I fell in love with jazz in the first place, and that's why I continued playing clarinet, because it was like, like I can do something with it. I can really not only express myself, but I can make something like sound cool for someone else to kind of connect to. And so I've really been trying to approach like music with not the sense of pressure and feeling like everything has to be perfect, but more of how can I express myself? How can I have fun with this? And how can I get the audience to enjoy it as well? So I feel like that's sort of the biggest thing. There was I just remembered. Okay, so I remember I was at TMEA. I was at Allstate my junior year, and I got into the conductor was from, I forget his name, but he was from LSU.
Okay.
And he was great. He was a great like conductor. He was a great teacher. But I remember like right before the concert, he was like, guys, like when we go out to play, like think about, like, obviously your parents are going to be there. People are going to go to see you, to perform. And he was like, imagine this. Like, let's think about, like, what if there's someone that didn't even want to go to the concert but decided, like, hey, let's go see him. He brought up this, like, analogy of, a janitor. Because we were practicing in a hotel for, like, that whole week before we went to perform. And he was like, let's say, like, one of the janitors that came in here and was cleaning, and every once in a while he would like walk by and hear the rehearsal, and maybe he was like, I've been hearing them, what if I go in and check them out, And he was like, when they walk in there and when you start playing, think about trying to keep their attention so that they don't even look at the program, that they're just so in awe, that they're just so captivated by what you're performing and the way you're playing.
Yeah.
And to like, now that janitor who didn't even, was like, oh, I was just gonna show up, I was just curious, is now so happy that he went to go see a live performance. And so that really kind of struck with me, like, you can really change someone's day and really open a whole new world to so many people, and you don't even know it. And you don't even know it. And especially for me, it's like, oh, I gotta focus on my part. But then you look at the bigger picture, and so many people lives and so many people's ears can open up. And I think that was something that was so beautiful in a way, and that just really stuck with me. So every time I kind of perform, I'm always thinking, like, you know, who was dragged here, here, and maybe they might like actually like the music that, because of the way we played it. So I think those two have really changed, and it really stuck with me.
Awesome.
So yeah.
And the last question I have for you is, what advice do you have for upcoming jazz musicians?
Ooh, okay. Well, one, listen to as much as you can. Like, consume everything. Even if it sounds weird, even if you're like, oh, who's like Lester Young or like Count Basie, like, you know, who's all like, just go in and explore and have an open mind about everything, especially when it comes to jazz, because I feel like you know, there's some weird jazz out there, like, definitely. Sounds like contemporary pieces, but like, I feel like the more you explore, the more you'll find out what really resonates with you and what you like, and not only that, it, like, because what happened with me after listening to so much jazz, that kind of style, like, you're able to pick it up like pretty quickly. You're able to like kind of move along with it, and it's not so much about like, oh, how do I play the jazz style? It's more like, how do I fit in? How do I groove? How do I like kind of go about everything? And so I feel like listening is number one. Listening is number one, and transcribing was something that I was always very discouraged by, just because, I mean, it is so involved. You're taking a solo and then you're trying to write out something that isn't written by ear, and then you try to learn it on your instrument, and especially if it's something that's really like technical, really crazy, it can take a lot of effort, and it feels like you're putting so much, all this time into one thing, and then you forget about it in like a week, something like that. So it was very daunting at first, but I feel like the more you transcribe, the easier it'll get, and the more natural it'll come to you. And not only that, you'll get more used to the sounds that you can make on your instrument, and understanding what, like, especially with transcribing, if you're able to like get that solo, you can break it down and figure out like what licks you like, what exactly did they do that you liked that now you can do, because now you have the notes. And then especially with transcribing, is imitating exactly how they do it, their little inflections, their certain dynamics, or if they like play a little like lick and it sounds a little like messy, or the way they articulate. It's like I remember they described it as like, it's like medicine. It's medicine for you. It's just, there's just so much good that you can gain, and so much language that you can gain from listening and transcribing. And then I feel like look at chord changes. I feel like that's something. Really understand like 2-5-1, because if you can understand certain chord changes, playing through tunes, and especially with all the stuff that you transcribed, you can translate that and put it into certain tunes and chord changes that you're learning. And again, it's just medicine for your ear, medicine for your technique, and medicine for your style. So I feel like those are definitely the three things. Just listen, transcribe, and try to break down as much as you can to just really understand the language and kind of the basics of jazz. I feel like those are the biggest thing.
There we go. Awesome. As the next little segment, I like to give to all my guests to give them a moment to shout out anyone that needs to be shouted out, or just promote anything they want to promote. So please take it away. The moment's yours.
Well, shout out Douglas Story, Mr. Story, the clarinet professor, the GOAT. He's retiring, but we will always remember. Love him. Shout out, love that guy. But also, there's a song by Charles Mingus. He plays. It's called "The Black Saint and the Sinner Lady," and that's his album. And there's a track called Track A, Solo Dancer. I love that song. If you want to get into Charles Mingus, listen to that song. I mean, of course, he got his classics, but that one is so great. Mm-hmm. There's so much to. It's a beautiful and nasty song all at the same time. So I would recommend Track A, Solo Dancer, Charles Mingus.
That's what we'll play immediately after the interview.
Hey!
There we go. Well, thank you once again for coming on the show. It was an honor having you here. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
I did.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in to Jazz Talk. We're into local jazz musicians. Of course, we have a lot more segments coming up and a lot more great songs coming up. So make sure to stay tuned. This is Jazzy Fridays, only on KWTS 91.1 FM.